Welcome back, Witches and Wizards. Today I'm going to be continuing the story of my art teacher when I was in high school and her weird interactions she had with me and messing with my artwork. So previously I told about how she docked me marks on my first project, like first final project in grade 9, where she broke my manatee model and then she docked me marks, and then docked me marks on not citing photos that I took when I was in Florida of manatees. Then I told about how in grade 11 she stepped in and while I was in the middle of sketching one of my projects of St. Matthew's, and like she stepped in and basically took over the sketching when she had only told me that she had a suggestion. So I was like, what are you doing? And I found out that I was the only one she was doing this for. So I was really confused and getting a little annoyed with this. But there was a third major incident when I was in grade 12 where it was another final project, and our assignment was to take an animal, a picture of an animal, paint, like sketch it out. Then you needed to divide it into at least 4 sections, and each division had to be different from another person, along with the animal had to be different from the other students, so you couldn't have copies. So for instance, if you had a picture of a tiger and you cut it, like, divide the picture into 4, and in those 4 sections you had different color schemes. So you could have like black and white, then you can have cool colors or warm colors, and so on and so forth. So you had to do that, and it had to be different from everybody else. Like, you couldn't copy it, which was very limiting because we were a normal sized class. We had about like 30 students. So choosing an animal, not as hard, but choosing different sections, like divisions, along with different color schemes, was a bit tricky. So I wasn't sure of what animal I originally wanted to do. I kind of was leaning towards a shark, but part of me was also like, maybe a fox would be good. So we only had 2 computers in the classroom. We couldn't leave the classroom to go do to the computer lab. We could only look on the computers in the room. So when it was my turn, I was looking at pictures of sharks and pictures of foxes of what I can use as a reference. And my teacher came up to me and asked me what animal I was doing. And I said I wasn't entirely sure. I was leaning towards shark, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to do a shark or a fox. And she goes, "You should do a fox." And I was like, okay. Well, I was kind of leaning towards shark because, like, I found this really cool picture of a shark and I actually like it. And she goes, no, you should do a fox. And I asked, like, is there someone else doing a shark? And she goes, no, but you should do a fox. And I was like, okay, I'll do a fox. I was not happy then. I was like, oh god, it's happening all over again. So I started looking up references of a fox. And she leaves for a moment, then she comes back and she goes, have you found your photo yet? And I said, well, I was kind of leaning towards this photo. It has a nice, a nice photo of the complete fox and all that. And I can see all parts of it. So it would be easier to sketch onto my canvas. And she goes, no, that one isn't good. And I'm just like, what do you mean? She goes, well, the picture's too small. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of small, but I would just make it bigger and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be an exact replica because it's a reference. You just look to it as a reference. So I'm just like, yeah, but all the other photos are obscure. Like, there are sections of the fox that I can't see, so it would be really hard to sketch. And she goes, you should do that picture. And the picture was of a fox standing on top of, ice. And it looked like it was a red fox. And it was standing on top of like ice, like almost like it was in the Arctic. But it was a red fox. So I was like, yeah, that's a really cool picture. It was titled Ice and Fire. And I'm like, yeah, that's a really cool picture. But I can't see the feet. The ice and snow are covering the feet in the photo. And she goes, that's okay. And so I was really confused by this. So I said to her in a loud enough voice that people who were nearby me could hear me. I said, so you're saying it's okay to use this photo as a reference even though I can't see the feet? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, because I can't see the feet, I won't be able to to sketch the feet out on the picture, because we were limited to one reference photo, which is very weird. Normally you would have a variety of references so that way you know what you're doing. And she goes, no, it's okay. You don't have to sketch the feet if it's not on the photo. And I'm like, okay, you're telling me it's okay to do this even though I can't see the feet and I'm not going to get in trouble for not drawing the feet. And she goes, yeah, totally all right. And I looked to everyone around me. I was like, you guys heard me, right? Like, getting looks from people saying like, yeah, no, that's a bit weird. She's saying it's okay. All right. So I'm like, okay, I'll do this picture of a fox that you like, even though I would rather do a shark. So I printed it out and I sketched it. And for a while, besides that weird interaction at the computer, she had mind her business. So I was like, okay, all right, I can get this done. And I sketched it, and I love the picture. I think I still have the canvas somewhere folded up, because it wasn't stretched out on a frame. But I divided up the photo into an X pattern, and I did different backgrounds with different color schemes. I did one where it was circles overlapping, and when they overlapped, they merged colors. I did another one where it was black and white. I did one where it was warm colors. Oh, no, it was cold colors because of the contrast with the red fox. The fox itself was not going to be changed. It would stay the same. It was just the background that had the different color schemes. And then I came and I did the bottom, like one of the bottom sections. I did geometric shapes, almost like archways and circles and stuff like that. And I decided I was going to do the pattern red and black, because I was already doing one that was white and black. So I wanted to do red and black. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of pushing it, but I'm running out of time. I can't think of another color scheme, and everyone else seems to be doing everything else. So I painted it, and I was loving it. It was so good. I was really enjoying myself. Other people were like, yeah, no, that's really good. And when it was getting close to finishing up the project over a span of a few weeks, I was almost done. I was just touching up some details on my fox, and she came up to me one day and said, you know what would be really good on the red and black section of my background? And I knew she was gonna do this thing again. And I'm just like, okay, what do you think would look good? And I paint with acrylic. So acrylic can come out a little bit in water, but not really when it comes to fabrics. And that's what canvas is. It's a fabric. So once you put it on, you could fade it, but it's still there. So I was painting with acrylic. She took someone else's oil pastel, and she took green of all colors. She took green and started drawing on my canvas. She was outlining the geometric shape in green. And it looked horrible. She started doing a section right in the middle. Then, like, after a section, like, she went for it for 5 seconds. I was standing there with my mouth open and everyone was staring at us. And I'm just, like, thinking to myself, you can't be doing this. Like, that's oil pastel. It looked terrible. I hated it so much. And I'm looking at her, mouth open, and then I looked at everyone else saying, like, are you seeing this? She's doing it again. And she finishes a section, she backs off, and she goes, no, never mind, that doesn't look good. And then puts the oil pastel back and then walks away. I was so angry when this had happened. I immediately turned to the person whose oil the pastels belonged to, and I said, are those oil? And she goes, yeah. And immediately I start panicking because oil pastel will not come out. I tried to get it out because I was like, okay, well, it just got put in, it's fresh, maybe I can, like, do it. And this, again, this project was due, like, in 2 days or something like that. And I couldn't take it home because I had recently painted it, so it's wet. I wasn't going to move it. I was going to let it dry there. So I was like, I'm screwed. I'm so screwed. I tried to, use water to get rid of it. It faded the other colors, but the pastel did not move. And I was so angry that after I was, like, working on it and other students were just like, oh, maybe if we did this or maybe if we did that, like, do you have enough time to paint over it? It was almost near the end of class. We still had another, like, 10 minutes, but I already put all my stuff away because I was almost done. I was just waiting for it to dry. And then I was, like, finishing up, and I was, like, outlining certain pieces of the fox in a black felt pen to kind of emphasize the fox design. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm so angry. I can't do this. I dropped everything and I walked out of class. I was so mad. Again, this was my last period. So after that, it was just grab my stuff and go to the buses. I left class. I left all my art supplies there. I didn't even put them away. I was just so, like, they were just out on the tables. And I just left it and just left the classroom, went to my locker, grabbed my backpack, closed it up, went to my friend's classroom and waited for the bell to ring to let her out. And the moment she came out, she saw me there and she saw how angry I was and she knew I had art class and she goes, what did she do? And I explained it and she goes, what is she thinking? Like, my teacher, why? Why would she do that? And I told her, like, I walked out. I'm not going back in that classroom to get my stuff. I'm done. The next few days, I went back, but I did not talk to anybody. I just grabbed my stuff and did my own sketching for some minor projects and stuff until finally it was time to hand in the final project. I handed it in. I did not care about what had happened. I was so angry. And she took my canvas and she was going to take it home with a few other ones to mark. So fast forward a few days and it's near the end of the school year and all that, and we're getting ready for graduation. We finally get our marks back from the teacher. And she docked me marks on the fact that the animal didn't have feet. Like, my fox did not have feet. And she docked me marks on the green oil pastels on my red and black canvas. And I was so mad. I was furious. I took home my grades and I explained everything to my family. I was like, this is what I deal with in my art class. Totally forgetting about the guidance counselor situation, like, you know, conversation and stuff like that. But like my family was like, why did you get docked? Like, why didn't you do the feet? And she said, I told her we were only allowed to use one reference photo. The photo did not have feet in it. I asked her if that was okay, and she confirmed. And I knew she was gonna do this because she did it previously on my other projects, where she said one thing's okay, and then she docks me marks. And then they said, well, what about this green pastel thing? And I said, she did it. She put it on there. I knew it was not going to look good. I couldn't get it off because it wouldn't come off. And she docked me marks. And I was like on the verge of tears. I was just so angry about all of it. And the reason why I took grade 12 was because someone told me in grade 11 that was going to be her last year. She was going to be retiring. So I was like, I'm free to take grade 12 art and have a new teacher and finally be free. But she was there. She graduated, like, she retired when I graduated. I was so angry. But years later, here I am, and I'm still bitter about it because it was so stupid and so infuriating, and it didn't need to happen, but it did. If you have any crazy stories about a bad teacher or a weird experience with a teacher or anything like that, yeah, please share it. Either email it to me or write it down in the comments section. That'd be awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell for future notifications. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!